Hello. So I think we're going to talk about something I've been putting off for a long time. I don't really ever talk about it on my social media platforms, but it's something I kind of go off in a tangent about here and there, and I'll say that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. I think today might be the day. Um, I want to talk about the movement of loving your body where you're at, or the inclusive body loving phase of life that we're in. I don't think I'm using the right words here, but I think the movement for loving your body, no matter where you're at in the journey, has somewhere taking a wrong turn. Okay. And for me, it's extremely frustrating because I have been overweight since I was a kid. And I feel like because of this new message and the turn that has taken, the kids who are overweight now are not going to have the same desire and fight in them to become healthier. So when I was a kid, and I say I was overweight as a kid. When I look back at my elementary school pictures, yeah, I was overweight, but I wasn't morbidly obese yet. Okay. Now I did get to be morbidly obese at some point in my life, but not when I was in grade school. But I was considered overweight, and I was like I was visibly different than your average kid. Okay. And I remember specifically that I was in my elementary school, I was the only girl that I remember being overweight. Okay. And I remember a boy who was overweight. And then when we went to junior high, which was then called middle school, and we had a couple towns that we came together for middle school, um, there were a couple more overweight kids. Um, and I probably could, if I sit here with a pen and paper, I probably can write them out. And I bet you for sure it's less than 10. I would definitely guess it'd be less than 10. And I think that being closer to 5 would probably be more accurate. I'd have to actually put thought to that in pen to paper. But I remember in second grade, and you may have heard me say this before, in second grade, that is my first recollection of me knowing that I was different when it came to weight. I don't remember much about it other than in second grade, we did this thing one day where we had stations and we went around to different stations and did different things. I don't even have a clue what the stations were, except for one station. One station was we weighed ourselves. I don't know why. Except I don't remember what we were doing. I was 8. And I weighed myself and I weighed 72 pounds. I remember that. I was 8. Okay. I was 72 pounds. And I don't remember if anybody said anything. I don't remember anything other than trying to hide that from other people. So I don't know if I was already having issues, like if I was already struggling with the fact that I was a fat kid and I didn't want anyone else to notice, or if somebody said something, if I don't know, I don't remember if I saw other people's and noticed that mine was different. Um, I have no idea. But what I do know is that I was ashamed and embarrassed and aware that it was not normal. Okay. And I went through like that whole phase of life, like elementary schoolish, junior high, as being thicker, okay, overweight, but not obese. Okay. So when I look at the pictures now, I'm like, oh, probably wasn't really that bad. But it was though. Like, and it wasn't body dysmorphia. Okay. I was overweight. Okay. I was overweight. I was bigger than the average kid my age, whether that was second grade, fifth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade. I was thicker. Okay. I think I was 12 that I remember being on my first diet. Um, which I don't even know what that was. I just remember I was 12 trying to lose weight with no guidance. Like, so I don't know what I was doing to lose weight. Nothing I was supposed to because I didn't lose weight. So whatever I was doing wasn't it anyway. And when I say that was my first recollection of a diet, that doesn't mean it lasted more than a day. Okay. Because I don't even know what it was. And that could have been 2 weeks. It could have been 1 week. I have no idea. It could have been one day. I have no idea. Okay. But I know I was trying to lose weight as young as 12 years old. Okay. Now, no, I'm not going to go to now yet. I'm going to stay there. So I'm overweight. Okay. And I'm wearing bigger sizes. Okay. So I can't necessarily always borrow clothes from a friend because that's something we did back then. However, I could still, for the most part, shop somewhat normally. Okay. As long as I was wearing like extra large, probably. I don't know. But then there got to a point where in my teens that I could not shop at popular stores. Okay. When I was in high school, teenage, maybe even later middle school, shopping at the Gap and Limited and Express and 579, these were the places that people wanted to shop at. But I could not shop at those stores because I could not fit into their clothes. When I was overweight and could not fit into those clothes, finding clothes for plus size for overweight teens that were cute, trendy, and fit was nearly impossible. Like it, they just weren't as available. Brands were definitely not size inclusive, and you had to go to basically the plus size section, aka women's section versus Missy section. So let's not even get all that because that's a whole nother topic. Um, but plus size clothing in a women's department is not going to be, it was not, it certainly was not cute and trendy for a 15-year-old. Okay. So my clothing options were very limited. Like to find something that was somewhat age appropriate and fit was not an easy feat. Okay. And that was the same way through my 20s. Okay. Um, and so since then, brands have become size inclusive, which is amazing. That's great. That's fantastic. Okay. I love that. I love that for you. Okay. And it's easier to find trendy clothes that fit overweight kids. They're more available. They're more easily attainable. Okay. Heck, you even have sizes now in certain stores that do what do they call that? Vanity sizing. So it's really bigger than your actual size, but like the number's smaller. So you think you're wearing a 6, but you're really wearing an 8, like that type of thing. Um, but here's my problem with this. We are making it acceptable and okay to be obese. And while I think that there should be clothing that fit, that's cute and trendy, I feel like every kid, teenager, young adult should be able to wear trendy clothing and dress how they feel comfortable and how they feel cute and how they feel confident. Somewhere along this path has become, it's okay. It's okay to be obese. And it's not. No, it took me until well into my 40s, no, probably my 30s, until I shifted my focus from vanity to health. Not that the vanity part completely went away, because obviously I want to feel like I look good, right? To me, I want to feel like I look better than I did, but my focus was health. Okay. So I've spent since at least 12 years old trying to get skinny, even though skinny is not the goal. Okay. Skinny is not healthy. And I now know this. I did not know this when I was 12 because the diet culture when I was young was toxic. It's still toxic. I mean, let's face it, it's still toxic. But skinny was what I thought was what I wanted to be. You know, obviously, I've learned that I don't want to be skinny, and that's not any healthier necessarily than being obese. I want to be strong, and I want to be healthy, and I want to feel good, and I want to feel like I look good. I don't care if you think I look good, but I want to think I look good. Okay. Um, so since I was 12 years old, I've been trying to, not just because clothes didn't fit. I mean, that was a big reason, sure. But I wanted to be like everyone else. Like I wanted to look like everyone else. I wanted to be able to shop like everyone else. I wanted to be able to do things like everybody else. I mean, I didn't even ride roller coasters until just a few years ago. I probably didn't. The last time I rode a roller coaster was probably 20 some years ago. And then maybe 5, 6 years ago, I rode a roller coaster for the first time because I was not going to be the person who got in line, who sat down and the lap belt didn't fit and then had to get up and walk out in front of everybody. Okay. Because I seen that happen when I was a kid on the Trailblazer at Hershey Park, to be specific. I don't know how old I was, but I was a kid. And I saw a couple get on the roller coaster while I was still standing back in line somewhere. But I was close enough to see the people getting on the train car, whatever it was. And the wife had a really, really, really hard time and barely fit, barely was able to snap down. But the man, mm-mm, they brought people over. They brought workers over to try to push it down, right? They couldn't get it to latch. So they had to leave. They had to get, they couldn't ride the ride. Well, she could have, but she obviously got off with him. They had to walk. So everybody's watching this. Obviously, it was a scene because I was a kid and I remember this. Okay. And they had to get up with all these people watching after they just brought people over pushing down, trying to latch. Okay. Now, if they would have got the latch, that dude wasn't going to breathe. There was no way he was going to breathe on that Trailblazer. Okay. So why we're even doing all that, don't get me. I have no idea. Okay. But as soon as I would have went like this and I know I wasn't latching, I'd be like, oh, you know, I have to poop. I'm leaving. I'm not doing this. Okay. I would not, I'd make up some other excuse. I don't care if everyone knew behind me, hey, she's just too fat to ride. I don't know. I would rather that than be the spectacle of people pushing, trying to get me in. Okay. So all these people watch. I remember feeling so bad for him. I remember feeling the shame and I just felt so bad, okay, for him. And they had to not only do that, but then get up and walk, do the walk of shame, okay? Because No, I guarantee the majority of the people that were waiting wasn't saying, "Oh, poor guy. They really should make the seats bigger." No, they weren't thinking that. They're like, "Oh, wow, saying if he just would stop eating, if he would just eat less, maybe we should eat some less cheeseburgers and add some carrots to this diet. Maybe you wouldn't have that problem." I'm sure that's what was going on because that's how people think. People don't think. Now, I wasn't thinking, oh, here's an obese couple who clearly have some mental issues and bad relationships with food and da 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 da. Oh, I know I wasn't doing that, but I was like, oh my God, I feel so bad for him. How embarrassing. Not only is that so embarrassing, but like he really wanted to ride the ride and he couldn't. Okay? Like you're at the park. You think you're there for a good time. You're there to have a good day. And then you get on the ride that you want to get on and you can't. So now you didn't get to have fun on that ride. I felt bad. Okay. Did he feel bad? I have no idea. Was he delusional? Maybe. Maybe they walked off cursing Hershey Park because their ride was too small. I have no idea. Okay. But what I do know is I was never going to do that. And instead of saying at whatever age that was, I was never going to do that. So I'm going to eat healthy and lose weight because I was a kid. Kids don't know how to eat healthy and lose weight. Okay. Newsflash to you. If your kid is overweight, that is all you, boo. That is all you. Okay. That is all you. So I obviously wasn't going to just decide to eat healthy and exercise because I was a kid, had no idea how to do that. Okay. But what I did know was when I got to a point in my life where I started to question, might I be too big for the ride? This girl did not get on any ride. No, she sure did not. Okay. Because I was not about to get in line and have a whole spectacle happen of people watching me not fit in the train or the tram or the whatever it was. Okay. Not happening. All right. So I didn't ride roller coasters for a very, very long time. Okay. I'm talking about like I even on an airplane needed to ask for a seatbelt extender because I could not strap myself in with the normal seatbelt on an airplane. I made sure that my kid was always the seat beside me so I could spill a little bit into their seat. I always made sure I had an aisle seat on an airplane so I could spill into the aisle versus being smushed up against the wall and completely spilled into a potential different person in the middle seat. Okay. Um, I know what it feels like to not fit. Okay. It's like, it's not like I just had this weird perception that maybe I wouldn't fit somewhere. No, I didn't fit on an airplane. I mean, I fit barely, right? I mean, fitting is like, if I was sitting with somebody else besides my own family, because that's really, I only flew with my kids and my husband, somebody could have complained. They could have charged me for 2 seats, right? Talk about embarrassing, and I'm a pretty authentic person. I'm pretty open. I never try to act like, oh, I wasn't fat. Like, I know I'm fat. Okay. Like, I'm not hiding anything, but I certainly ain't going to make that spectacle of, oh, I have to get up and go pay for a second seat. Like, I don't want that. Okay. So I have always been aware that my size was not ideal. Okay. Yeah, I knew it wasn't healthy to some extent at some point in time, when my blood pressure started to go up or, whatever. But because it was always inconvenient, it was always in my face, right? Now it's the opposite. They have seats in front of the rides at a lot of these parks where you can test it to see if you fit before you get in line. We have to have seats in front of a ride at an amusement park for people to sit in to see if they fit. Here's the kicker. Some of those seats to see if you can fit are the big seat in a special row, okay? So they make special seats on some of these rides for bigger people. And then they put a sample at the front of the line so you don't get in line. What the hell are we doing? Like, okay, I get it. I get inclusivity. Okay, I get that. But listen, it can go too far. Like, I mean, I would love to ride roller coasters, okay, all through my adult life. And I didn't because I wasn't going to have this spectacle. And I know I did get big enough that I was not going to fit. Okay. I know that because I know how small the little seats are on the Comet roller coaster. Okay. And I know my ass wasn't fitting in there at 325 pounds. Okay. I know that. I don't care if the black bar could have came down or not. My ass was not fitting because they have a little bump in the middle. This was not happening. I was not fitting into that. Okay. So guess what? I couldn't ride roller coasters. Is that sad? Sure. Did I miss out on some great rides? Probably. But should they remake them also? Like that's there's no incentive. There's no incentive to lose weight. Like, yes, the incentive should be your health. Okay. But if you're not fighting for it, even through the vanity part of it, how are you ever going to get to the health part of it? It's totally going the wrong way. Like, yes, love yourself. Love yourself at every stage of life you're in. Obese, not obese. Maybe it's maybe it's anorexia, maybe it's bulimia, maybe it's whatever. Yeah, you should love yourself, but you should love yourself enough to keep wanting to be better. Okay. And I would not have learned to focus on the health if I wasn't always aware that I was abnormal. So eventually it became less about the vanity and more about the health. But I was always aware of it. And guess what? I had to sacrifice things. I had to sacrifice roller coaster rides. Like you should, when not everything is going to be all inclusive. Okay. It's not a resort. Being overweight. Okay. Being morbidly obese is not an all-inclusive resort. There are some things that are not included. Okay. And not everything should be made to fit that because it's extremely unhealthy. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. So now that like little kids, teenagers, young adults, you can buy any type of clothes that fit. They have seats specially made for you on the roller coasters. Where is the stuff that's telling you that this is not normal? That this is not how you want to continue to live your whole life. That does not mean that they're going to know right then. That does not mean that, okay, well, the torn going to be, well, if you knew all that, Jen, why wouldn't you just, because there's way more to it than what you're eating and exercising. Okay. And anybody who says differently has no idea what they're talking about. Okay. There is way more to it. Okay. But probably since my 20s, I started learning about nutrition and fitness. Not in ways that I was always applying it, but I was always trying to learn something. to make myself skinny before I knew I didn't want to be skinny. Okay. And then eventually that turned into health. And then eventually that turned into mental health. But the evolution of wanting to be better was always happening, even if it was internal and not external. And I'm afraid that like kids don't have that. We're normalizing obesity. And not everybody has a say in this, okay? Because I don't want to, there's some people who are completely off the other direction in this. Then usually they're people who have no effing clue anything about obesity, okay? Obesity, and I'm not talking about 25 pounds overweight. If you're 25 pounds overweight, that is, yeah, you need to make some changes and you need to like get off your butt and make things happen. Okay. But if you are morbidly obese, and if you don't know what morbidly obese means, look it up. Okay. If you are morbidly obese, you got so many issues happening that go far beyond what you're eating. There's a lot of why in there that you have to do. And sometimes that takes lots and lots and lots of time of being morbidly obese before you can actually physically see that you're addressing the issue. Okay. Because there's a lot of emotional and mental work that needs to go into that. There's lots of knowledge that needs to happen on nutrition, and even people who have lost weight and people who have had weight loss surgery and people who are now taking, weight loss injections. Again, I could go on forever about this stuff. You need to learn nutrition. You need to learn physical activity. You need to learn mental health. You need to understand why you are at a place where you are morbidly obese. Okay. But if everything is normalized, clothing, activities, and everything is just, hey, I remember one time, and this was when I was an adult in my 30s, okay, after I had gained back 111 pounds, okay? I lost 100 pounds, I gained 111, okay? This weight gain, I've had many weight losses before and many weight gains, okay? This one was different. This one made me very depressed, like clinically depressed. Like I was truthfully depressed. Okay. I wasn't just sad. I wasn't just upset and disappointed that I regained weight. I was depressed. Okay. And then I had somebody say to me, I'm like, I, I said to this person, I was around this person a lot. Okay. We were in a place together a lot. And this person would buy lots of food, snacks to have there. And I finally said, can you stop buying this specific snack? Because they're my favorite. And they've been my favorite since I was a little kid. I would always get a box at the grocery store on Thursdays when my dad did grocery shopping. And I cannot eat a serving size. I will keep eating them until I'm sick because I'm a binge eater. By true definition, binge eating disorder. That's what I have. Okay. Can you please not buy them? Oh, just eat them. You only live once. No, that's not how we handle this. Please don't buy them anymore. Next time, brings double. Okay? Double. And I'm like, what are you doing? I said, I can't have these near me. I said, can you please stop buying them? And you bought more. Yeah, you said they were your favorite. Exactly. Because I have no self-control. Because once that taste hits my mouth, I eat them all. Then I'm sick. And as soon as I stop feeling sick, I eat more. I can't have them. Girl, this is the way God made you. love you love yourself, you're beautiful the way you are. Um, you need to eat and be merry. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Like I'm literally slowly killing myself by being 340 pounds. Um, and you keep bringing food that is not helping that at all. And then I specifically request to not have them there, and you bring more. I had a person give me carrot cake on my birthday because it was healthy because I had carrots in it. It's your birthday. You still got to eat cake, so we got you healthy cake. Love yourself where you are or how you are. Yeah, you can still love yourself. Okay. You can still love yourself and be morbidly obese. But listen, if you truthfully love yourself, you're going to continue to fight to be the best self you can be. And if you're saying to yourself, I'm 300 pounds, 400 pounds, 500 pounds, whatever, 100 pounds, I know I'm bigger than other people, but I'm okay with it. I'm happy here. I love it like this. My man, he loves me. This is the way God made me. You're in denial, first of all, and you don't love yourself. Because people who love themselves are constantly doing things to make their lives better, healthier, self-improvement. Okay. And I feel like it's becoming a mask. Like if we say, "Oh, I love myself like this. I'm happy and healthy like this, and I can be healthy at 300 pounds, and I'm healthy at 300 pounds." I feel like it's a mask so that you don't have to be accountable to your actions to yourself. Because at the end of the day, I don't care if you're obese. It makes no impact on my life, right? So you telling me that you are happy and healthy there is you trying to convince yourself that you're telling me that you're okay with it. So that's telling you that you're okay with it. So then you think I'm not judging you. So then you're not judging yourself because I don't care. And I will say, any person who says that they are happy just the way they are and are classified morbidly obese, they are a liar. Liar. And yes, I stand true to that. Nobody will ever convince me differently because I have been there multiple times. I've been there. I know what it feels like. I know the shame of saying, can I have a seatbelt extender? Because I can't fit the seatbelt. Okay. I know what it feels like to sit in a pediatric office for your kid's appointment. And when they call your kid's name and you stand up, the chair is stuck to your ass. Did it. Been there. I've been the person who had to walk into a room and scan the room to see where I could sit, what type of chairs they had, and the best way to get there without bumping into people. I have been the kid who, when they're handing out uniforms, the biggest skirt didn't fit. So I couldn't button it when she was a cheerleader. So she had to hide it with her shirt. That was me. I know what it's like to not be able to find shoes that fit your wide feet. Now I don't even know what people do that there's no pay less because I would always find the widest shoe I could when I had to dress up clothes for work. And I certainly wasn't wearing heels, but my feet couldn't fit in anything because they're so wide. So I could find occasionally extra wide or whatever shoes. They weren't ever cute, but at Payless, I know what that feels like. Been there. Okay. I know what it feels like to be out of breath from trying to tie your shoe. Okay. I know what it feels like to feel like your heart's gonna pop out through your brain as you're going up a flight of steps. I've been all these things. Okay. And anybody who tells you that they're happy and healthy that way and they're okay with that and that's the way they want to be, they're a liar. They're a liar. They're hiding behind something. They're hiding behind it so they don't have to address the real issues. Okay. So this whole movement of love yourself where you're where you are, how you are. Love your I don't even know what the movement is. Love yourself how you are. No. Love yourself where you are, but love yourself enough to continue to be better. And I'm just so afraid that this whole where they were trying to be inclusive, which again, we should be inclusive to a certain extent. You should be able to dress cute. You should be able to find clothes that fit you, and you shouldn't have to go to a specialty store and pay insane prices just to get something to fit you. Okay. But the enabling to be this weight, the enabling to stay morbidly obese by making everything that inclusive from rides at an amusement park. Okay. I mean, airplane seats, they could be bigger. Okay. Not just for people who are morbidly obese, but just for everyone, because come on, you're putting too many of us on the airplane. We're smacked in there like sardines. Those seats could be bigger. Okay. But that's not what I'm talking about. All right. Making it so, hey, if you're morbidly obese or you're not morbidly obese, everything, everything fits, works, whatever. There's nothing signaling that that's not right, that that's not healthy or that's not where you're supposed to be. Is that giving you any incentive to want to be better, but to be different? I mean, you can argue it's a disease. It is. I mean, I do believe obesity is a disease, but if it's a disease, but you're never going to work on trying to fix it if things are not always accommodating. I don't know if I said that right, but you see what I'm saying? And yeah, you can give me you probably can come up with some other examples of, well, what about this? And listen, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care. I know that I've lived with obesity, okay? And I know that I was a fat kid. And I know that I grew up as a kid trying to diet with no knowledge of diet. I know that I grew up in toxic diet culture, and I still know that diet culture is toxic. But I also know that I would not be where I am right now if all of it was easy for me to be obese. Okay. Like, I don't know that I ever would have tried to learn how to make myself better. I don't know if I ever would have went to therapy and worked on mental health. I don't know if I would ever have learned that mental health, fitness, nutrition, stress, sleep, all of those things come together to make you the healthiest, best version of yourself possible. I don't know that I would have known any of that if it would have been just like, oh yeah, you're tall, I'm obese. Like, nothing we can do. Like, that's if you have high blood pressure, you work towards not having high blood pressure. If you have diabetes, you work towards not getting diabetes, controlling your diabetes, reversing your diabetes. If you have high cholesterol, you work towards that. If you have cancer, you try to cure it. Like, you do all these things, but obesity, you see, I don't know if I'm losing myself here in this, but I just think we're on the wrong path. I don't know. I'm very fearful that we've gotten too blasé with being obese, um, saying, "Meh, it's the way God made me." No, that's not how it is. That's not how it is. You wear your symptoms and struggles of other things as in obesity, like it's everybody can see it versus, maybe your things don't come out in obesity. Maybe it comes out in drug use, or maybe it comes out in alcoholism, or maybe it comes out in w- burying yourself in work. You gotta fix it. You have to work towards it. You have to want to be different. You have to want to be better. Okay? You have to want to be healthier. And I don't think that now, I think we're losing that drive because we're saying, I know overweight, so what? That just means you're stronger and and you love food and we all love food. I don't know. I feel like now I'm starting to talk circles. So thanks for listening. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have any opinions on this? What do you think? I would love to hear because I feel very strongly about that, but sometimes I have a very hard time articulating that. So I'd be curious to hear what you have to say. Have a great day.